This is the map I've chosen to build Otford City on. I'm gonna document the steps I've taken to make the city from the foundation to the prosperity and self-sufficiency. Let's start with the basics. Roads. I'm no expert in urban design, but I've given it my all for Otford City. The first step was connecting our city to the highways. I made sure the roads flowed smoothly, following the natural layout of the island we're building on. Even though I'm not a pro, I wanted to ensure that when you zoom out, you'll see a city that's not just functional, but also visually satisfying. For the layout, I didn't have a clear plan. I just focused on designing the best I could and figure out where to place things as I went along. Maybe you know more about zoning than me, but this is my first city in this game. I just trusted my instincts. For electricity, I started with a transformer station to get electricity from outside. Yeah, it means we'll have to pay for it, but we'll fix that later. And of course, we need a water source and sewage connection before zoning starts. For zoning, I began with the only option available, low-density housing. I aimed to choose the best starting point, opting for the city center, as many cities historically develop organically from there. Next, I added industrial zones, essential for providing jobs to the city's common residents. And naturally, there's a need for commercial buildings for shopping. I strategically placed them at the entrance of the city to avoid larger trucks driving through residential areas and traffic. Following that, I expanded the residential low-density zones, and as the layout evolved, I continued zoning based on the initial design and location considerations. Eventually, I reached a milestone, the tiny village. It's a promising start for a city like ours. Now, let's talk about city services. First up, healthcare. I strategically placed the medical clinic on the other side of the city to mitigate traffic issues. This was part of my initial plan, which included adding more highway connections to the other half of the city so that the ambulances can cross using highways. From healthcare to death care, I wanted to build the first cemetery in this spot, and I did it. As you can see, there's this deformation. I don't know why this view spot makes me remember the wall of the cemetery from GTA San Andreas.
This is it.
Next, I addressed waste management by adding a landfill, which gives me control over its borders by adjusting the nodes. And this is a good feature in this new game. Moving on to residential zones again. This time I unlocked medium density zoning, and I expanded the city by purchasing additional map tiles. With new roads and expanded zoning, I continued to grow the city. Then came education. I started with a school at a location optimized for transportation purposes. However, I encountered a common issue in this game, which is higher rent pop-ups, which we will address it more in the next videos, and negative cash flow. To address this temporarily, I ignored the pop-ups and added a higher density residential zones around it. Despite the financial challenges, I persisted in expanding the city until reaching the third milestone, which is large village. This unlocked essential services like the firehouse and police station that we will see in the next video, and gives a relief by adding a good amount of money as the budget was so tight with the negative cash flow. And now let's take a look at the city's progress. I know I didn't focus on cinematic camera settings. I may do this in the future, but this overview gives you a sense of where we're at and a good look at the progress. Thanks for watching this far. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If not, share your feedback in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications for future updates. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.